What's up guys, it's All Day Anthony and welcome back to the RSX vlog that you hopefully know and hopefully continue to love, because in today's video we're addressing one of the biggest problems with the Acura RSX interiors. Let's jump into it. Alright guys, and welcome back to another Acura RSX vlog where this thing continues to improve with hopefully every single video. Now today we're addressing one of the biggest issues with the interiors of these cars, and that is the seats. So if you're an RSX owner, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I don't have to explain any further, but if you're not an RSX owner, then you can hear me ramble for the next couple of minutes here. Now, these cars are amazing. The interiors are awesome. The seats are awesome as well. They're very sporty, they're very comfortable, they're very good looking. However, after all of these years, most of the Acura RSX seats have begun to deteriorate and deteriorate horribly. Now, this was a big problem on the 02 to 04 model, where most of those seats have quite literally already deteriorated by now. Whereas the 05 to 06, they tried to improve that with a couple more stitches and a change of materials, but those have begun to fail as well. So what do most people do? They swap to the base model seats for the Acura RSX, which are kind of a combination of maybe a micro suede and kind of like a mesh material. And those are really good looking seats. They're really nice, but they're also very rare and hard to come by. So most people try to do something else with their seats, typically an aftermarket replacement. Now, for this car, I had big hopes and big dreams with throwing aftermarket seats in here. I was doing all the research on doing Type R Recaros. I was looking at Corbo seats. I was looking at all sorts of good options for the car. However, during my research, I realized that it's also kind of a nightmare to swap out these seats, specifically because of the SRS system within these cars. Basically what happens is that you remove the passenger seat, remove the driver's seat, and you'll be stuck with an SRS light on the dash, which would annoy the ever-living crap out of me. So there is some fixes on what you can do for aftermarket seats, specifically with the SRS system. Cutting open the passenger seat, pulling out the entire sensor system, the SRS system, throwing it into like a bag or whatever you want to do, and just tossing it underneath the replacement seat. Now, other people will talk about throwing on an ohm resistor or things like that, but it's not typically a permanent fix. It's kind of a temporary fix, especially when you're replacing both seats. The other somewhat janky option that people do is taking a piece of tape and then lodging it between the gauge cluster to cover up the LED that produces the SRS light. So basically, both fixes are kind of janky in my opinion, and after doing all that research and going deep down the rabbit hole of forum posts from years and years ago, I pretty much concluded that I wanted to stick with the stock seats. Now, my stock seats are still surprisingly in pretty good condition. However, over the years, they've gotten extremely worn, and I wanted to do something about that. So let me show you what I'm talking about, and then I'll show you what I found that will replace those bad boys. Alright, so here's what we're working with for my interior. Now, if you watched my very first video on this car, I walked you guys through the entire interior of here, and I kind of showed you guys that my seats were worn but not torn. Now, some of you might be seeing this and thinking, Anthony, your seats look totally fine, you're an absolute psychopath, and you're not wrong. I am kind of crazy about this stuff. But one thing I noticed is that these seats right here had some spillage or whatever the heck it was over the years and created this really nasty looking distorted area here on the leather. On top of that, this area right here started separating and I could start seeing the foam underneath, and once that happens, they're pretty much toast. It's just gonna get worse and worse. So I took some super glue, took a little bit of leather filler, tried to make it better, but here within the next couple months, this is gonna rip again, and before you know it, these are gonna look absolutely trashed. And the bottoms right here are probably the biggest issues with RSX owners, not so much the seat backs, but the bottoms are the first things to go. For the seat backs here, I just keep these conditioned every couple months I'll go through with a conditioner, just trying to keep the leather soft and supple before that starts separating as well. And I'll show you what the passenger side looks like next. All right, so for the passenger side here, you can see a couple more kind of water spot areas and things like that. These aren't necessarily on their way to separate, but there's a couple of rips and holes in them. Maybe over here you can kind of see that look kind of unsightly. But this leather, dude, it's rock hard. Like, this wasn't conditioned properly in its lifetime, and because of that, it's become very, very brittle. So anyway, seat back here, still in decent shape, looks pretty good. But let me show you the fix, the solution to these nasty seat bottoms. All right, so during my crazed extensive research online to try to find a solution to my developing and future seat problem, I stumbled across a company called Richmond Auto Upholstery, who make these things right here. This is a OEM fit, genuine leather and vinyl leather seat cover for the Acura RSX, specifically for the Acura RSX. And when I saw these, I was like, no way, this is exactly what I'm looking for, and I was so freaking stoked. So when I say seat cover, I'm not talking about like your Tinkerbell, AutoZone, Hot Wheels seat cover. I'm talking about like the real thing, like the actual seat cover. So the old leather comes off, you'll just have foam there. This thing goes on top of that, molds the foam in, and creates obviously the new seat bottom. Richmond Auto Upholstery makes these. I think they're made to order, because when I ordered it, it took about like a week, actually about a week for them to make it. And when I got them, I was like, hot damn, like this is the real deal. So you can see here the same perforation that you would find in the OEM seats here. The bolstering looks right. The front of the seat with this kind of felt material looks right. Like everything, it's perfect. It's an exact replica, and I can't believe that this exists. So flipping it over here, this is like very intricate. I'm not an upholstery guy. I don't know what goes into it, but looking at this, I'm like, well, this looks pretty complicated. But I'm guessing all this is used for hog ringing the seat cover into the foam and all of that. But yeah, they literally stitched this. They put this whole thing together for all these orders. So what I got was both the passenger side and I got the driver's side sitting over there, which are going to be replacing both seat bottoms on this car. So as far as the installation of these bad boys, I had a couple different options. I was going to attempt to DIY this and do it myself and just see what happened, but then I had flashbacks, or should I say nightmares, to when I did the Iggy seat covers on the Del Sol seats, and I remembered how raw my fingers were after I was done and how many hours it took. And so I was trying to find a nice local upholstery shop that could do it for me in like a tenth of the time. And what I ended up finding was McDowell's Auto Upholstery in Boise, which have been like doing this for literally decades at this point. And so I asked them if I could come down to the shop, have them install these onto the seats, and just me be a fly on the wall and film the process. I thought it'd be more helpful for you guys, and also we'd be able to show more and show the process, and maybe you can apply this for yourself or take it down to a upholstery shop if you don't feel comfortable doing it yourself. So anyways, we have a very early morning tomorrow morning where we're going to be heading down to McDowell's, and I will be filming the process. So see you then.
A few moments later.
All right, and good morning. We just got to McDowell's here. The RSX is ready to rock and roll. I have the seat covers in the trunk here, and other than that, I'm pretty sure this place is going to have quite literally everything else. They do dents and dings, paint chips, hard plastic, foggy headlights, door panels, leather, vinyl, dash cracks. They install all these other things. A pretty cool kind of all-in-one shop, but like I said before, these guys have been doing upholstery for quite literally decades, and so I feel really comfortable and confident with them being able to do a good job. So with that said, we're going to head inside, meet the tech, and jump straight into this thing. All right, guys, so we got the car into the shop here. We have Luke, who is the interior cosmetic repair specialist.
That's right.
That's a long title right there.
Prestigious.
It is prestigious. So you do a lot of the interior repairs here at McDowell's.
Yes.
Yep. So everything from leather redying, seat installs, seat repair, everything.
Yep. Know how to break down the complete interior of your car.
That's pretty sweet, man.
Head to toe.
So anyway, we're going to probably jump straight into this, right? I know that probably leather repair and leather seat cover replacements, probably not the most exciting content, but I know a lot of you RSX owners watching this are like, yes, show us how this is done. So anyways, I walked Luke through the car here and we kind of checked things out. showed him the condition of the seats currently. A couple things to note here: if you have the Type S, then you probably have the amp underneath the passenger seat here. Probably best to take that off the seat first, just because it weighs a little bit, and then from there we have all the different clips and all that jazz that has to be removed for the SRS system. But other than that, I'm just gonna be filming Luke work. I mean, he's a pro here, and so I'm just gonna watch him get stuff done, and hopefully we're gonna have a minty, fresh looking interior here with the RSX. What a score, guys. Look at all I found. I got some change here. I got one McDonald's French fry still holding up well. I got maybe an old Tums right here. My favorite though, a stale gummy. This has probably been here for 10 years or so. Perfect. Oh. All right, Luke, so you got the seat out of the car. This is the driver's side. What's the process?
Yes, so first we need to take off all the plastic trim panels. There's a couple levers and switches, screws that we need to access. We're going to start by taking the lumbar seat off, get this panel off, hit some screws, and then we'll be able to hit all the tabs that keep the seat in the car.
Sweet, man. Let's do it. Go. Dude, you made that look really simple. This would have taken me, honestly, like 6 hours up to this point right now just to do this myself, and you made this look very easy. So at this point, so we have the leather cover, we have the foam underneath here, and then that's pretty much it. That's the intricacy of a seat bottom.
Now let's make it look better.
Now let's make it look better? Okay. Lift that off, Luke. I need to see this. Oh, that is disgusting. So what do you think that was?
That
Coffee?
could be anything. It could be liquid, it could be body oil, it could be sweat. You know, there's endless possibilities.
I don't want to know.
You can smell it if you want.
No, I'm not gonna. I'm probably not gonna smell it. But it's the exact pattern of that stain that was on there, right? So, dude.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
guessing
yeah. You're right. So
that had to have been like a hot
or
coffee spill or something. But dude, you do that on leather, and it'll tear it up, and then this will get all soaked in. But you know what? Nobody's gonna see this, and that's
right.
That's totally okay. But yeah, I would say that this feels pretty good. And so, what would be your process in terms of kind of reforming it if you were to give it a little bit more rigidity?
So first and foremost, to see the real integrity of what the foam is, we need to steam it. Right here, that feels nice and good, nice and strong, and right here, I can just push my thumb right down in there.
Gotcha. Okay.
So let's grab a steamer and steam it.
Okay, so Luke wants me to fill this right now, so I'm filling the foam. All right, so it's a little soft right there.
It's got some density still to it.
Yeah, it's got some density to it.
Let's see what happens when we steam it right there. Just hold it there for a couple seconds. You can see it start to expand.
It is. It is growing.
Yeah, so for the most part, when you steam it, it should, return it back to its form.
That rose up.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So feel that side compared to here, and tell me if you think we might need a rebuild.
Oh, yeah, I see. Yeah, that's like, dude, that feels like brand new over there. I mean, it feels fuller, but you can definitely tell that, yeah.
It's nice and soft, and you think it's going to be a lot more comfortable, but when you put your weight in there, you get in the seat, you're going to feel metal. You're going to feel that this, you're gonna feel the frame when you go and get into your car.
Yep.
So let's rebuild it for you and make it better.
All right, dude.
The little turkey cutter here.
That is
It's Thanksgiving today.
It is Thanksgiving.
So we'll start, I feel it probably about right here is when it's starting to get weak. So
Okay.
we'll start a cut right there. And I usually like to just cut down right to the line of where the form starts to go.
Okay.
Come across. Boom.
There we go. A nice slice of bread there.
That's right.
Munch on that, right?
So now we got our much better, nice new thick foam.
Okay.
It'll feel a lot better.
Dude, that does feel nice. That's really nice.
So we'll take it. Let's see a little spot for it right here. Line that up.
So you
Okay.
essentially create like a template, basically, right? Yeah.
Yep. So what I'll do, I'll cut a chunk out, cut it to the rough lengths and widths,
Okay.
glue it in, cure it with heat so it glues faster.
Yeah.
And then start shaving it down with this guy.
Nice. So you're sculpting, doing
That's
some
right.
foam sculpting. I like
Yep.
it. All right, Luke. So you got kind of sexy with it out there.
That's right.
With the air blaster, and
Couldn't help myself.
dude, you got this like perfect. This is amazing.
It's pretty clean.
It's awesome.
It's gonna feel a lot better.
That's gonna feel substantially better.
A
And
little closer to this side now.
oh, dude, I think it feels even better on that side. Bam! Every time I do it, I end up hitting a door panel. All right, guys, really quick here. I am kind of mind-boggled right here because when we went to go take off this cover here, I was expecting to see a bunch of sensors here for the passenger side. No sensors. Yeah,
You lucked out.
I lucked out apparently. I don't know. I could have sworn that these had something inside them because I know that there is a plug here for the seat back, for example, which is, I'm assuming it's this plug right here. And what's the weirdest thing is that, I mean, if there was something there, I don't have an SRS light, and this was all the factory stuff here that he removed, so these have never been tampered with or touched. So
if it were to have it, it would either be overlaid on top of the foam, or you'd see a little pad sensor on the spring that you sense the weight when somebody sits down on it.
Yeah.
But nope, you get nothing.
Strange, man. So I have no idea.
Boom.
All right, guys, so Luke just finished up with the install, and dude, does it make a difference?
I think it came out pretty nice.
I think it came out incredible, dude. You did killer work. So you do this almost every single day, right?
Yep.
A new
This is my
reskin or a new something, more bolster cutting, molding, and all that stuff. And McDowell's literally has pretty much, I mean, hanging out here, I've realized that they quite literally do everything here, which is pretty awesome. So down the road, I'm sure I'll be back for one thing or another, but I am just so pumped with how this turned out. Richmond Auto Upholstery did a great job with getting basically this perfect template for this car, and I think that most of you guys watching this who have torn seat bottoms are like, yeah, you're going to be all about it. So again, a lot of these wrinkles are going to work out with some more heat. We have summer coming up, so most of these are going to disappear. And then as far as the color here, this has more of a sheen to it because of all the body oils. This is brand new leather, obviously. So once I put like a conditioner or a sealant on it, it'll add a little bit more of a sheen, but just with time, it'll start to look like this again. And so I'm not worried about that at all, but just a killer job, looks amazing. Can't wait to jump in these, start driving around, and not have to worry about my seat bottoms ripping anymore on this car. So Luke, thanks again, man.
Absolutely.
I really appreciate it. Any final words?
I would say, as far as getting work like this done, a lot of the
if you
times,
don't feel comfortable doing it yourself, take it somewhere.
Yeah, 100%. You need a professional to do it if you want it to turn out nice. A lot of the times when you want to get work like that done, your best option is to just get a cover made. Either factory if you can, if it's not too expensive, or just find your next best option and then see if you can have it professionally installed if you don't think you can do it on your own. I think they turned out great. It's one of my favorite things to do.
Dude, yeah, thanks again, guys. So shout out Richmond Auto Upholstery for making such awesome covers here. Shout out to McDowell's for being able to do a professional install, and hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. As always, if you guys like this kind of content and want to see more of these niche little fixes for these old Hondas, then please make sure to give me a big thumbs up, subscribe down below for more, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. It's all Anthony. Peace.